What is going on, guys? Rewinds here, and in this video I'm going to be bringing you guys a lot of spoilers for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex manga chapter number 22. Shout out to Felix for all this information I'm going to be showing in this video. And I do want to actually say that we're primarily going to be covering tech spoilers and bullet points, all that kind of stuff for this video. I have no idea yet if we're going to get any scans this month before the chapter drops. But if we do, I'll probably have to make a separate video on it. It's been, I think, a couple hours now since some of these translations have been coming out, and I've been waiting for some scans to potentially drop too, but unfortunately it doesn't look like it's happening yet. So here we are. We're going to talk about what's going on here. I have a little bit of an idea myself so far from some of the spoilers I've read, but I haven't read everything, so I might react to some of it as I go. First things first, Ikimoto actually made a comment regarding Himawari as well, where someone asked pretty much what she's been doing during this whole time, I guess, in terms of her living situation and whatnot. And Ikimoto said that she lives in the Uzumaki household still, pretty much hoping that one day her parents would return. So that was some pretty sad stuff to read. It just shows you what kind of position Himawari got put into after everything that happened. Boruto and Himawari, both children who had a lot growing up, and now both have lost practically everything. Especially Boruto with him being a fugitive and all now too. But so on to the spoilers for the chapter. Boruto is on the cover page. And I'm assuming it's a solo one because that's what most of the Boruto ones are like. Unfortunately, we don't have that image yet, but hopefully soon. The chapter itself is just titled Jura. So some stuff is going to be going down with him. I mean, that was implied with the end of the last chapter regardless. So let's see what happens. Jura pulls up. He doesn't seem to care about Mitsuki and Araya, but he looks at Sarada for a moment before looking away. He's searching for Boruto or looking at the way he is. So the fact that he even looked over at Sarada means he potentially sees her a little bit as a threat down the line, maybe. Or maybe it's because Sarada's the reason Ryu was taken out, so maybe that could have been some acknowledgement right there. And it says that Jura doesn't even seem to care about Ryu's Thorn Soul as well. So that's also interesting, because one of the reasons I thought that Jura was going to pull up to, this whole battlefield was to retrieve those Thorn Souls, but it doesn't seem like he cares too much. We're now back to Boruto and Konohamaru, and Matsuri remains are turning into a Thorn Soul. Konohamaru has this Thorn Soul, and Jura knows where Boruto is at the moment and flies towards him at high speed. Boruto is throwing shurikens around the rock formation so that he can use the Flying Thunder God because he knows Jura is coming. And Jura throws a Rinnegan Jubidama to where Boruto and Konohamaru are. So Jura's going all in pretty much from the start, basically sending in his version of like that tail beast bomb at them. And Boruto ends up grabbing Konohamaru and gets him away from the explosion, gets away from the explosion himself, then throws Konohamaru away as well. And now Konohamaru is leaving, running with Matsuri's Thorn Soul, and Jura is just looking at him. So we know why Jura's here. Jura's here to deal with Boruto. Konohamaru's making an escape right now with the Thorn Soul, and it seems like the other Thorn Soul, Jura didn't really care for. And suddenly, Boruto now appears behind Jura and lands a RASENGAN on his back. That's some hype stuff, because based off how the sneak peek was going and based off how Kashin Koji's been talking, Koji's made it sound like Boruto would be whooped pretty bad here and it would be pretty one-sided. And granted, it could still turn that, but good start. The Rasengan pushes Jura down, but he manages to turn himself around and fires a Rinnegan Jubidama at Boruto. Boruto uses the Flying Thunder God to get away. And by the way, when the Rasengan happens, no blood or anything, Jura pretty much just tanks the attack. Jura keeps falling, looking up. Boruto teleports behind him with the Flying Thunder God from a rock formation, which has a shuriken. Then we see the second sneak peek, which that was the image where Boruto does try attacking him with the sword, and Jura ends up blocking that. Jura says something, and I guess it's about the Flying Thunder God. We do cut back over to Ada and Kashin Koji as they're talking, and they're pretty much saying that Boruto doesn't have a chance of winning, and they're talking about his Flying Thunder God symbols and more. And then I think Jura says Boruto knows too much about them, about, the Thorn Soul, for example, so that he has to kill Boruto. He wants to know Boruto's source of information, but isn't sure. Boruto thinks that only the Uzuhiko might work against Jura, so that's how you know it's bad, if he's going to have to bring out his main jutsu right now. Jura asks Boruto what love is, saying that love brought him here, and pretty much asking if it's a human defect. Which makes sense for him to ask that, especially since he just observed the whole Konohamaru Matsuri thing. Boruto jumps away and cuts them apart. Jura uses more Mokutun against him, so he runs away until one hits him, and Boruto gets separated from his katana as a result. Jura captures Boruto with Mokutun, and he can't move. He and Boruto talk some more. Jura grabs Boruto's katana. And then, people, I guess, or well, at least Felix over here was hoping Kawaki would come back maybe at this time, but that did not happen. Suddenly, we see Uzuhiko Wind Aura. The Mokutun that was keeping him from moving get destroyed. I'm assuming, by the way, Mokutun translates to the Clawgrime creatures. I think that makes most sense. May be wrong, but that's what I'm assuming it is. Boruto teleports to where his katana is and lands Uzuhiko on Jura's back. Now that's hype. I'm sure that looks great. The panel itself. So I'm excited to see, some of these pages come out, especially since this is such a action-heavy chapter. I don't think Boruto had a lot of time to charge the Uzuhiko, so it looks weak. It looks more like the one that landed on Code. The Uzuhiko pushes Jura back, and the effects are affecting him, so he falls on his knee. That's crazy. He brought Jura down to a knee. However, Jura was able to nullify the Uzuhiko using the same principle of how his tail beast ball works. Jura stands up fine, while Boruto is with a worried look now and thinks that the Uzuhiko didn't work. End of chapter. The side text says, even the trump card that could turn the tide is invalidated. A future of despair is closing in on Boruto, and that's where the chapter ends. I personally think this is a pretty action-heavy chapter, of course, and I feel like we're getting a lot of exciting action tidbits in here. Sounds pretty hype. I can't wait to actually see, everything come out when the official chapter's out, or whether the scans are released soon. I'm excited for that. So, hopefully you guys thought that this stuff was exciting too. I'm definitely excited to see this. It's been a minute since we've seen Boruto fight now. I think it's been a good, I want to say, at least half a year plus, maybe like 9 months. It's been a while. But we do have more info. This might have some potential more detail. So we're going to have a look at that. And that's pretty much going to be it for this video after that. So let's have a look real quick at what Felix posted for the more so in-depth tech spoilers. Alright, so it seems like we have about 4 pages of tech spoilers, more info. So some of this will be repetitive, but I'm sure there's going to be new info in this as well. So let's skim through it real quick. So again, Boruto on the color page, and the chapter itself is titled Jura. The first sneak peek that we got when Jura pulled up to the scene is actually the 3rd page of the chapter. Jura doesn't really seem to care about Mitsuki, Araya, and even Ryu's Thorn Soul, but he does look at Sarada for a moment, but doesn't say anything. He is searching for Boruto, or looking at the way that he is. We then cut back over to Boruto and Konohamaru, and then we pretty much see Matsuri's remains turning into a Thorn Soul, which Konohamaru now has possession of. Jura knows where Boruto is and flies at him with a high speed. Boruto is throwing shuriken around the rock formation so he can use the Flying Thunder God. Jura throws a Rinnegan Jubidama to where Boruto and Konohamaru are. Boruto grabs Konohamaru and gets away from the explosion, then throws him away. Konohamaru is leaving now, running with Matsuri's Thorn Soul, and Jura is looking at him. So again, even Jura looking at Konohamaru running with this Thorn Soul doesn't seem like he cares too much about really getting it back. At least not at the moment. Suddenly, Boruto appears behind Jura and lands a Rasengan on his back. The Rasengan pushes Jura down, but he manages to turn himself around and fires a Rinnegan Jubidama at Boruto, which he uses the Flying Thunder God to get away. Then Jura keeps falling. Looking up, Boruto teleports behind him with the Flying Thunder God from a rock formation which has a shuriken. Then we get the second sneak peek that was released yesterday as well. So, Jura says something about the Flying Thunder God. We then cut back over to Ada and Kashin Koji. They say that Boruto doesn't have a chance of winning and are also talking about his Flying Thunder God symbols and more. Jura says Boruto knows too much about them, such as the Thorn Soul, and he has to kill them, but he wants to know his source of information first. Boruto thinks that only the Uzuhiko might work against Jura. Jura asks Boruto what love is, saying love brought him here and asking if it's a human defect. So, this is a new part. Jura uses wood style on Boruto from all directions. I bet that's a cool panel to see. Boruto jumps away and cuts them apart. Jura uses more Mokutone against him, so he runs away until one hits him. So, maybe the Mokutone translates to the wood style? I mean, I'm really not sure on that one. Usually I know what some of like the other translations are. For example, like the Jubidama relating to the Tail Beast Bomb. But the Mokutone's actually one I'm not too familiar with, I can't lie. But Jura is using wood style here. Boruto does get separated from his katana. Jura captures Boruto with the wood style. Okay, so it is wood style. So that clarifies that. Jura captures Boruto with the wood style, and now he can't move. And Jura and Boruto talk more. Then Jura grabs Boruto's katana. But suddenly we see the Uzuhiko wind aura. The wood style that was keeping him from moving gets destroyed. Also, I want to say, pretty cool that Jura has wood style. It's been a minute since we've really seen someone use that's like a big villain, or like a big character in a fight. So, cool stuff. Boruto teleports to where his katana is and lands at Uzuhiko on Jura's back. Boruto hadn't had much time to charge the Uzuhiko, so it looked weak, more like the one that landed on Code. Uzuhiko pushes Jura back, and the effects are affecting him, so he falls on his knee. But Jura was able to nullify Uzuhiko using the same principle of how his Tail Beast Ball works. Jura stands up fine, while Boruto is now looking with worry, saying the Uzuhiko didn't work. And that's pretty much where the chapter ends off. I know that was more or less very similar to the side stuff that I read at the start, but that's what we got so far, So that's what we're going to work with. Hopefully we do get some scans that drop later today or something like that, or maybe a more detailed full spoiler summary. If something like that does happen, I will be sure to make another video on this, but if not, that's all this is going to be for this month. And hopefully you guys did enjoy this month's spoilers. Let me know what you think of everything in the comments below. If there's no more spoiler videos for me regarding this month's chapter, hopefully you look forward to my review on the chapter, and that's pretty much going to be it. But if you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you guys are new, and as always, I hope you guys have a good day or night whenever you guys are watching this video. I'm Rewinds, and I'm out.